What is going on, guys? This is Versus All Gaming with my review of Strike the Blood episode 12, and holy crap, this episode was freaking amazing. This is probably my favorite episode of this anime so far because it was definitely good. This arc has been incredible and it definitely did not disappoint. I actually do like how we are getting these like mini arcs, but they actually like give you so much, so much story that I don't mind that they're only like a few episodes long. But it starts off with Yukina. She has made this barrier for them, and La Folia, she was saying that it was gonna last them for a while. And we take a look at Kojo, and even though most of his wounds has healed from Kano's attack that had pierced him, it still hasn't healed, and he had like this scar going on. But there's like a familiar inside of him that was actually protecting him. And I'm not gonna lie, that little scar right there, like on his body, it did look pretty cool. Now, like, let's say that wound couldn't heal, and he had a scar there forever. I actually wouldn't mind that because they actually made him look pretty badass. But La Folia actually got this idea, and she starts taking off her clothes. And I'm just thinking, Kojo, you lucky bastard. He always had all these females around him, and of course, they're all sexy, and they look good. So of course, that right there is definitely like a blessing to him. And so she was planning on letting Kojo drink her blood, but she was like, it was more important for her to like arouse him so that his vampire instincts could awaken. And right before she was gonna make a move, we have Yukina that actually stop her. And so at first I thought that Yukina got jealous, and so she's gonna be a blocker right now and stop La Folia. But it seems that she was planning this and have Yukina do it as well. Because we see, like, not only does Yukina start removing her clothes and unbuttoning her top, but she also, cut her arm and start pressing herself, against Kojo. What actually works, because we see once he drinks some of her blood, his wound does heal, but he still doesn't wake up. But his vampire instincts do take over, and he actually drinks some of her blood. And so it seems like even though his wound has healed, there was no sign of familiar, because normally, like, as soon as they drink somebody's blood, we see the familiar, comes out and does work. So I was thinking that maybe it was because that Yukina blood was already for another familiar, it didn't work. Like, even though it healed, Kojo still probably couldn't use that familiar to its fullest. But then we have La Folia. She was actually able to convince him to drink her blood, and that is when the familiar was actually able to to be tamed. But I definitely like how Kojo was like able to communicate with Kano, because we could see that she was like swallowed up by the darkness, but Kojo was kind of like her light, and he definitely did a job when he said that he was going to save her. And so once they break out, we have to have Kensei. He was talking about how he was doing all this so that Konan could never be hurt. And so by her being, a higher being and not being in that dimension and all this other crap, I would definitely like, how Kojo was not buying it. And I so wanted for Konan to like break out by herself and just kill Kensei. Because I definitely did not like this guy. This guy is a horrible person. And to make things worse, Kano was the other daughter of his own sister. So even though he was a royal mage, he was still, experimenting on his own family. And that right there is just sickening. But we actually had BB, and I believe that the guy name was Lo. They had came back, and they were actually cloning these angels, but they were the victims of Kanon losers. So they definitely weren't that powerful, but they were still kind of a threat. But luckily, thanks to Yukina and La Folia, they were able to quickly get those angels under control. And it was definitely awesome to see that Yukina does not need her spirit all the time to fight. And I definitely like how she has like these lightning based attacks. Like that young lightning technique that she used on BB, that was pretty awesome. And BB is definitely weak. So Yukina was right. It was her familiar that was powerful, but she's just a weak piece of crap. And then we have Lo, who actually lost to La Folia, which like really surprised me because I thought La Folia would be in trouble. But it seems that she had lied in the last episode, which she couldn't use her gun, because in this one she could. And you just see that this guy's torso is like riddled with bullets. And so then BB got like really pissed off, and she kind of like snapped because they want to capture La Folia so that they can make more angels from royal blood. And so she has some of her familiar once again, but La Folia actually surprised everybody by using herself as the spirit so that she can use a false holy sword, which I definitely wasn't expecting her to be able to do. But I definitely like how this anime has all these strong female characters. I wish more animes would take this route and not make their females, you know, so weak or just worthless altogether. But mostly, well, yeah, mostly every main female in this anime is powerful, and I definitely like that. So La Folia quickly, you know, just one-shot BB with like this huge energy blade that was a holy sword. That right there was awesome. And then we finally see Kano emerge from her cocoon, or you know, the ice tower. And so then we see this new familiar. I believe it was called Al Maison Mercury, which was like this badass twin-headed dragon. Now this familiar right here, this is definitely my favorite familiar to date. Not only is it a dragon, but it's also blue, and it has this beastie nickname. It's called the Dimension Eater. Like, how can you not like that? It is just so freaking epic. And so this dragon, it was able to eat the wings, which were like turn her power to the other dimension, which is why they couldn't hurt her in the first place. But once her wing was gone, she was actually falling. I thought, you know, that might be it. But to my surprise, she kind of got like this quick power up, and we just see her take on this new form. But luckily, Yukina came in and she was able to separate her power from her. And so now Kojo used the dragon again to eat her wings. And I am hoping that, you know, Kanon still has some of these, you know, angel powers left, because she would definitely be a great ally to Kojo and them. And so now that Kanon's defeated, you know, and everybody else, you know, has gone down, Kensei is basically done for. And we see that he was locked on this ship where he was questioned by Makodi. And he was saying that there should only be 3 progenitors, and Kojo, you know, shouldn't exist. And so, you know, while I was like listening to that, it definitely reminded me of the series called Maggie, because we all know that the character Aladdin, he is the 4th Magi, or Maggie, who shouldn't exist, but he does. So, you know, him and Kojo are definitely in the same boat. But if you take note from Maggie, Aladdin is doing so many good things, and he's like making this change for the world. And now, so it's pretty safe to say that, you know, Kojo's going to do the same thing, because apparently, you know, something is coming, and Kensei wanted to make Kano into a weapon to prepare for that. But because she failed to kill Kojo, you know, his plan kind of went down the drain. But then we have Makodi, who was saying that they still need him to work for him, and now he's going to part of this company. So I'm really on the fence here about where does Makodi stand, because sometimes we actually see him like a possible ally for Kojo, but then he does like the shitty stuff. So it's definitely kind of hard to like judge his character. But I do hope that, you know, at the end of the day, he will be on Kojo's side. But at the end of the episode, they're like on this boat, and here where things, you know, really heat up, and Kojo gets into like so much trouble because they're all gonna leave. But La Folia actually kisses Kojo, which everybody sees, and then we have Sayaka, who actually gets jealous, and I'm pretty sure Yukina definitely didn't like that as well. And not only that, we have Asagi and Kojo's sister. They also came and they saw that. So now everybody knows that something's going on with Folia and Kojo. Like, I'm not saying that they're like a couple or something, but there's something going on with them, which they were picked up on. And to make things worse, you know, Kojo also brought up that kiss that Asagi did, which we saw Yukina kept questioning about. But now we're at the end of this arc, and we're moving on to the next one, which I am definitely excited for. I think the name of it was Labyrinth of the Blue Witch. So I think that this might revolve around their teacher, the Witch of the Void. I think we actually might see a character that could be as powerful as her, but you know, kind of like evil. But like I was saying, this episode, it was just amazing. I give this episode, you know, the highest rating you possibly could, at least to me, because I loved it. It was a great way to end this arc, and I do hope that we see Kano, which I think we will, since the Witch of the Void, because right now I can't think of her name, so I'll just call her that. She actually going to act as our guardian, so maybe we'll see her, you know, use her angel power to like some extent, so that she could be an ally and possibly fight for them. But I definitely enjoyed this arc a lot. But as always, guys, please do not forget to like the video and subscribe, because that really helps me out. But as always, you gotta take it easy, and I'll see you all next time. I had forgot to mention this back when I was originally doing my review for Strike the Blood, but Kojo actually did use Yukina's blood again, because it seems that because this familiar is a twin-headed dragon, it actually required 2 spirit mediums. So of course he used Yukina's and Laphobia's blood. So it would seem, even though he does have a tie with another familiar, thanks to Yukina, he can still use her blood again. So that right there is very interesting. And also wonder if there's like some kind of ranking, you know, in terms of power for all these familiars. Like I would imagine, because this right here was the 3rd one, that this could be, you know, his 3rd most powerful. I would imagine that he is going to summon his 1st and 2nd familiar for whatever threat Kensei was talking about. But I do want to see all of them. I do hope in this anime we'll see every familiar that he has, because I would hate that we don't see like all of them and then the anime ends. But I did just want to point on that point, that he actually can use people's blood over again.